I'm Jeff. I'm the CEO of Optain Health. Optain is a frontline screening solution in healthcare that uses the eye in order to identify patients that have needs across multiple disease states. So the eye is the window to the body, and within the eye we see all these amazing features. We can see blood vessels, we can see nerves, we can see things like cotton wool spots that spin up that indicate that you're losing your vision. And so these features are all attributable to disease states systemically outside of the eye across your body. And so our opportunity is to use this non-invasive, rapid deployed technology in order to identify those to get the right patients to the right treatment space. And it is the combination of that plus things like the US government saying everyone has to have a screen every year if you have certain disease states that makes it a green field for expansion. So what the market was waiting for was for someone to get the solution right. And that's very unique here. You don't have to create the customers are begging for the product. You just have to be the one that creates the best product and the best fit. There's a large population of individuals who have a disease state and they're unaware that they have it. And the focus for us is to appropriately identify patients who need help. There's a lot of waste in the system. We send a lot of patients for screening that unfortunately come back negative, and it takes up and occupies time for patients that do need help from doctors that could help. And so we have a very strong focus on very simple, easy to use screening devices using the eye, which means non-invasive. We take an image of the eye and we use human graders and artificial intelligence to determine what aspects of care this patient may need, and then we triage appropriately. We have a very narrow focus. We want to be frontline screening, right? When you look at things through that lens, what you want to do is find disease states that are highly prevalent across the globe. Number two is you want to find disease states where there is a known cure or solution so that there is a reason that you want to identify, right? 30+ million people in the United States have diabetes. There is a requirement that every one of those individuals is screened on an annual basis. So that's a great place to launch from. I think in healthcare specifically, you really have to narrow your focus and know where your use and application is. But for us as a frontline screening company, our focus is better clinical care, return on investment, and fast, easy to use operational discipline. So my advice to other CEOs is, how well do you know your customer? And if you don't know them well, if you don't feel that you can duplicate their process, their thought process, their day-to-day operations, then you better figure that out before you start building your product. Because otherwise you're going to spend all your time pivoting and you're not going to get to the point where you can commercialize and bring value. Our founder and our basis and our thesis was that we could use artificial intelligence to identify features, biomarkers, lesions, et cetera, that are in the eye that allow us to attribute those to other disease states, right? But we also know that we can use that to identify and determine whether or not a screen was a good image, whether or not that's going to be read. We know that we can use it in research, and we know that AI relates to not just the capability to manipulate data, but also, importantly, to generate data. And this is an area where we're somewhat unique. And so most companies that are AI, they'll say, we can do these amazing things if you just give us your data. We're the opposite. What we say is we can use AI and we can use this image to generate new data for you to use. And that makes us just so valuable and sticky within healthcare systems for all the right reasons that it makes it easy to adopt. On the personnel side, of course we're using AI in every way that we know how in order to become more efficient and effective. And in fact, I would say AI is part of our DNA. One thing that is often overlooked when we are talking about artificial intelligence is there are still people behind the scenes that are building that. And I think the good fortune that we've had at Optain is we have stolen the best and brightest from across the industry. That is always a goal of mine. We can use AI to make those individuals more effective and efficient, but ultimately you have to know what you're doing, right? There are some things where you can kind of tinker around, but regulated medical device is not a space where you can just tinker and hope to get it right. You have to know what you're doing. And so the real success behind Optain is the team that is building the company. The product, the AI solutions, the teleophthalmology, et cetera, that's a byproduct of the talent that we brought in. And it's that talent that's going to make sure that we win in the future.